When Franklin first embarked on his spiritual journey towards moral perfection, he had only the 12 virtues we have already studied. One day, as Franklin was engrossed in a friendly conversation with a Quaker acquaintance named John Collins, a debate arose. At the heart of this discussion was the concept of pride, a trait that Collins gently suggested Franklin had exhibited during their discourse. As Franklin wrote in his biography, Collins kindly informed me that I was generally thought proud, that my pride showed itself frequently in conversation. Franklin realized that his unwavering commitment to his virtues, while facilitating his growth, had also sparked an undercurrent of pride. His quest for moral perfection had led him to develop a strong sense of self-assuredness, which occasionally transcended into a perception of superiority. It dawned upon him that he was often resolute in his views, unyieldingly voicing his perspectives, thus creating an impression of imposing his ideas on others. Reflecting upon this, Franklin acknowledged the pivotal role that humility plays in mitigating the pitfalls of pride. He recognized the necessity for balance, to be confident in one's beliefs and abilities while being open to others' perspectives and acknowledging the limitation of one's knowledge and skills. This epiphany led him to add humility as his 13th virtue. To Franklin, he defined humility as imitate Jesus and Socrates. These two served as role models in his life. In the case of Jesus, his teachings place great emphasis on humility as a virtue. He taught his followers to be servants to others, to turn the other cheek, and to love their neighbors as themselves. He was often depicted as preferring the company of the humble and the outcast, emphasizing the dignity and worth of all individuals regardless of social status. Furthermore, despite his spiritual authority, he never sought to exalt himself above others. Socrates, the classical Greek philosopher, also embodied the virtue of humility in his approach to wisdom and knowledge. He's known for his Socratic method of inquiry, which involved asking probing questions to expose the limits of his interlocutor's knowledge and his own. Socrates famously claimed, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing." This acknowledgement of his own ignorance, despite his vast wisdom, signifies a profound form of intellectual humility. Franklin sought to emulate this. By doing so, Franklin underscores the importance of recognizing our limitations, being open to learning from others, and treating everyone with respect and dignity, regardless of their social status or intellectual prowess. In the rapidly evolving 21st century society we live in, where individualism and self-promotion often eclipse collective achievement, humility is a gentle yet potent reminder of the value of others' contributions. Humility fosters a learning mindset, nourishing personal growth and nurturing constructive relationships, making it a timeless virtue in an ever-changing world.
Dear reader, it is with a humble heart and steady hand that I, Benjamin Franklin, reach out across the yawning gulf of time to share a few modest thoughts on the virtue of humility in your era. In the course of our lives, dear reader, we often become so engrossed in our pursuits, ambitions, and desires that we lose sight of the grand tapestry of existence, wherein every thread, regardless of its prominence or obscurity, holds an essential place. Humility in this regard serves as a compass that directs us back to a recognition of our place within this grand design. During my own time, I made the happy discovery that there is more to be gained in listening than in speaking, more in understanding than in being understood, more in supporting than in shining. As I added humility to my list of virtues, I sought to imitate Jesus and Socrates, two figures celebrated not for their grandeur but for their humility and wisdom. I entreat you, dear reader, to consider humility not as an antithesis of ambition or strength, but as a virtue that can walk hand in hand with them. For when you act with humility, you create space for others to shine, to contribute, to be valued. In this space, a community grows stronger, richer, and more harmonious. Thus, to pursue humility is not to diminish oneself, but to accept one's place in the grand scheme. As it was in my day, so it is in yours, that true humility is the foundation of all virtues. The fertile soil in which they take root and flourish. Your obedient servant, Benjamin Franklin.
Despite his prominence as a polymath, a printer, writer, scientist, statesman, and diplomat, Franklin's humility set him apart from many of his contemporaries. Franklin's anecdote of the three-penny loaf of bread serves as a testament to his humility. Despite his later fame and accomplishments, Franklin recounted this tale throughout his life, ensuring the image of a young, inexperienced boy eating his loaf remained a part of his public persona. Another way Franklin applied humility was through his approach to conversation. He developed a style of discourse that was respectful and non-confrontational, often using phrases like, "I conceive" or "I apprehend," instead of asserting his opinions. This humble conversational style, which he referred to as modest diffidence, embodied his belief in the possibility of his own error and his respect for others' viewpoints. Franklin's humility was also reflected in his interactions with friends and acquaintances. He valued the feedback and wisdom of others, as evident in his anecdote about the Quaker friend. He took the criticism of appearing too prideful to heart, resulting in the addition of humility to his list of virtues. Franklin's adoption of humility was an extraordinary stance, especially in the hierarchical society of the 18th century, where social status was often linked to pride and ostentation. His humility, however, did not diminish his influence or achievements. On the contrary, his humble approach to life and his willingness to learn and grow enhanced his reputation and effectiveness as a leader. Amidst a society driven by rapid technological achievements, global interconnectivity, and a constant influx of information, the practice of humility has perhaps never been more pertinent. Today's digital age, characterized by the proliferation of social media and personal branding, often emphasizes the importance of standing out, being assertive, and promoting oneself. While these traits are not inherently problematic, they can sometimes overshadow the quieter but equally important virtue of humility. However, in the backdrop of this seemingly self-centric culture, humility emerges as a counterbalance that invites introspection, open-mindedness, and a willingness to learn from others. On a personal level, humility helps individuals stay grounded. Regardless of one's achievements and successes, humility reminds us to recognize our shortcomings and continually strive for improvement. It promotes self-awareness, enabling us to differentiate our strengths from our weaknesses, thus opening avenues for personal growth and development. In the context of interpersonal relationships, humility remains an invaluable virtue. It fosters understanding and respect, thereby paving the way for deeper, more meaningful connections. Humility enables us to listen actively, respect diverse viewpoints, and admit when we are wrong, all of which contribute to healthier, more constructive relationships. Within the professional sphere, humility continues to be a significant asset. Leaders who embody humility inspire trust, foster open communication, and build inclusive environments. By acknowledging the strengths of their team members and being open to feedback, humble leaders facilitate collaboration and innovation, leading to better team performance and productivity. From a broader societal perspective, humility is crucial as we navigate the complexities of the modern world. With the global challenges that we face today, such as climate change, socio-political tensions, and public health crises, humility allows us to appreciate the complexity of these issues. It encourages us to listen to diverse perspectives, understand the limitations of our knowledge, and collaborate across disciplines and cultures to develop effective solutions. Moreover, the scientific and technological advancements of our age further underscore the importance of humility. As we continue to explore the frontiers of knowledge, from the depths of quantum physics to the complexities of artificial intelligence, humility serves as a necessary reminder of the vastness of what we don't yet know. The virtue of humility, like all virtues, requires deliberate and consistent practice. On your virtues chart, track your practice of humility each day this week. Ask your daily questions of, what good shall I do this day in the mornings, and what good have I done today in the evenings? Note in your journal how the practice feels. Reflect on any challenges. Here are 5 strategies to aid you in your journey to cultivate humility. Take time to assess your strengths and weaknesses honestly. Acknowledge your accomplishments, but also recognize and learn from your mistakes and failures. This self-reflection can lead to increased self-awareness and understanding, fostering humility. When engaging in conversations, strive to truly listen and understand others' viewpoints instead of focusing on how you'll respond. Active listening not only enhances your relationships, but it also encourages humility by reminding you that every individual has something valuable to contribute. Regularly expressing gratitude for the efforts and contributions of others can foster humility. It shifts the focus from self to others, making us realize the role others play in our success. No matter how skilled or knowledgeable we are, there's always room for growth. Continually seeking feedback from others and remaining open to learning can help nurture humility. Volunteering your time and skills for the betterment of others can be a powerful way to cultivate humility. It helps you connect with people from different walks of life, broaden your perspective, and recognize your role in the larger community. By practicing these strategies, you'll be on your way to cultivating the virtue of humility. Remember, being humble doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking of yourself less. As you integrate humility into your life, you might find that your relationships become richer, your perspective broader, and your understanding of yourself and others deeper.